Good morning, Charlie here with Red Summit RF coming to you from my workbench. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing below and hitting that bell so that you can be notified every time I upload new videos. And you can always catch me on Twitter, NJ7V_, and on Instagram, Red Summit RF. Well, I've usually go on several backpacking trips over the summer, and when I go on these trips, I don't activate peaks that are sometimes nearby, and that's because I just can't afford the weight and space that my current ham radio gear takes up in my backpack. And so I've missed some opportunities. That doesn't mean that I don't like my Yaesu FT-817, nor does it mean I'll move away from that. I did my research and looked at a lot of the small radios that people use, the compact ones that are light, and I landed on an MTR3b. After my most recent backpacking trip in the Matazole Wilderness, I decided it was time to explore my options for a good HF rig that I could take with me on my backpacking trips. In doing my searches, I liked a whole bunch of other radios, but I decided on the MTR3b. There are a lot of videos out there covering the MTR3b and how it works, so I won't bother with that. But I had a harder time locating information on what was available and what could be used in addition to the MTR3b. Most people added to the MTR3b a few things to make it complete. So here are 6 items that friends of mine suggested I purchased to go along with my new MTR3b. First is a hard drive, an external hard drive case. I find that most of the owners of the MTR3b carry and store everything they need for their rig, with the exception of the antenna, in a conveniently sized hard drive case. So I need to take this part off, but I got this on Amazon for about $7-8, and you can see it'll fit in there pretty good. I'm probably going to take this strap off as well, but that would fit right like that. Next thing is earbuds. The MTR3b does not have an external speaker, so I decided to purchase some earbuds. I'm going to actually return these because they don't have a volume control. The MTR3b does not have volume control, and I understand that some people get their ears blasted out on occasion, so I am going to return these and get a different pair of earbuds that have a volume control built in. If that doesn't work out, then I'll go back to just regular earbuds, and there's on Amazon I found for about $6 a inline volume control, but didn't get as good a reviews as just the straight up earbuds. Okay, number 3 is a 450 to 500 milliwatt or milliamp hour battery. I purchased this. It was a kit of 2, or a set of 2 batteries. It's the Beta FPV 450 milliamp hour 3-cell LiPo, and I'm just going to keep this attachment here on here. There's another battery out there, the Nanotech. I think it's a 460 milliamp that people use as well, but I went with this. It's pretty small, and if you can see, I'm going to be able to fit this in quite nicely into this case. The next thing I have is a DC power jack, and this, I purchased this right here. I purchased 3 or 4 of them, and then I also purchased this pigtail, and it matches perfectly with this connector. It's a, if I can remember right, it's an XT30U connector. And so really number 4 is this barrel connector to make sure I can plug in. Otherwise, you can use the barrel connector that comes with the, the barrel connector that comes with the MTR, but it goes to a 9-volt battery. Here, let me see if I can find it here. Actually, it looks like it just comes, I ordered the one that just has a end here I could have attached, so I could have used this one, but But I kind of like the simplicity of just buying the pigtail. So number 4 is the barrel connector, number 5 is the XT3U connector on this end, so with the pigtail. So these wires came with it already attached, so really all I had to do, let me see if I can unwind this, is just attach the wires to the two terminals here inside this jack, and I was good to go. So that's what I did. That makes it easy. I didn't have to do anything on this end. So in a hard case, earbuds, which are right here. I'm going to send back, get different ones. Battery, I have an extra one there as well. And barrel connector and the XT30U connector. There's some debate about the connector, and some people say that you should power pull everything, and I do for most stuff. However, some argue that the smaller radio deserves a smaller connector, and I personally went with the XT30U connector for 3 reasons. One, I'll only be using these batteries for this radio, so I don't really need the ability to interchange. And 2, I prefer keeping my connectors that come with the battery if possible. I don't like snipping the ends of these batteries if it's possible. I mean, I've done it, but I just don't like it. And number 3, the XT30U is smaller and more suited for the MTR3b in my opinion. So number 6 is the antenna. I have a 20-30-40 linked end-fed half-wave antenna right here that I'll start out with for this radio. It was constructed with larger materials. Actually, Ken, K6HPX, and I worked on this together. He actually did most of the work when I went out and visited him in Tucson once. And this is a good antenna. It's like I said, constructed of larger material. But so I've started the process of creating a trapped 20-30-40 end-fed half-wave, and I'm following Adam K6ARK's plans, which you can find on his YouTube page for the antenna that I'll use in the future after I get it built, and I'll leave this one for other things. I anticipate that I won't use this rig much, probably only on backpacking trips, and that brings me to the Yaesu FT-817. Let me move this stuff out of the way here and grab that. Everybody knows about the Yaesu FT-817. Let me pull the video up here a little bit. So I prefer this radio on my activations in spite of its weight and size. And there is a natural give and take, between radio size and weight and functionality. But someday there will be an all-band, all-mode 100-watt radio that you can fit in your pocket. But right now, I'm not aware of such a radio that exists, so I actually want to use this radio. I get joy out of having the ability to activate more modes and bands than just the 20-30-40 CW. So I'm willing to pay extra in the price of weight and bulkiness to do that for me. So that's why I like the FT-817, and will continue to pack it with me, even though it is a little heavier and bulkier on most of my activations, because I want to pay that price in being able to work all band all mode. So for power, I want the full 5 watts out of this FT-817. So I go with the 4,000 amp hour LiPo battery, and what that gives me is about 1 to 2 hours of activation time for 3 peaks before I have to recharge it. So that gives me a full day in one battery. I actually have 2 of these, and I have been carrying 2 of them for a long time, and I've never really had to exchange it, so I'm probably just going to take it out of my pack. Murphy's Law, then I'll probably need it. So then as far as my antenna, I want to be efficient as possible, so I prefer the resonant dipole rather than using a tuner or a vertical antenna. So I just like to get as much out of my antenna as possible and make it as efficient as possible. And so that's why I use this antenna, and you can see again how much bigger it is than the one I'll be using, and then this one here is even bigger than the one I'm making. So I just prefer the simplicity of this, and the fact that it's a dipole. I like the way that a dipole deploys. I haven't deployed enough end-fed half waves to really determine whether or not I like it better. I think it depends on the situation, but there's that. Also, when it comes to a key, I really don't care that much, honestly. But I have the Pico Palm, and that has worked great for me, and I've had it ever since except for maybe the first 6 months of sending code. I've had this this Pico Palm, and it's worked great. So this is what I'll be using for most of my activations still. I don't mind carrying all this bulk and weight. Most of my activations are shorter, and I can easily do it. But for those backpacking trips, then I'll move over to something like this. And so there you have it. I hope this was informative. And remember, you can catch me on Twitter and J7B_ and Instagram, Red Summit RF. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell below so that you can be notified every time I upload new videos. And with that, we will catch you on the next one. 73.